Hey golfers, Dean with golflawyer.com, and today we're going to talk about setting up your Garmin R10 and some tips that will help you get the most out of that Garmin R10. Okay, and so let's start with some very simple things that you need to know and need to be reminded about. All right, so first up, when you have your Garmin R10 and you want to get started, make sure that you hold the back button. Okay, hold it until it starts to blink like so. Okay, now it'll start blinking green, right, to tell you that you are ready. When I first started, I would push it and it wouldn't work. Make sure you just hold it so that it turns green. Okay, now another very important tip, and this is one that you need to be aware of. When you are swinging, okay, and you're getting ready to hit a shot, and you take a little wiggle or you take some movement with your club before you hit the ball, it will turn red. Okay, and so you have to make sure that you are set, right, without the wiggle before you hit. So if you're going to wiggle, it's fine to wiggle, but make sure you get set after you wiggle and make sure the light is flashing green before you hit. I've had many shots that don't record because I wiggle and it turns red and then it doesn't count my shot. So make sure that if you have a wiggle in your or some sort of movement, make sure that you check and make sure it's flashing green before you hit. So that's a very important tip to start with. All right, so next up, tip for getting the most out of your Garmin R10 setup is to make sure that your Garmin is set up high as your mat. So when I have my mat, it's thick about that far, that thick. So I need to make sure that I put my Garmin and raise it up so that it's above that mat. Okay, otherwise it won't read it correctly. So just make sure that it's set and it's level with your mat so that you can go from there. The Garmin, believe it, the Garmin R10 will do all the alignment in terms of being level on its own. So you really don't need to do that. But if you want to, there are ways to do that. You can get a little measure that will help you level the Garmin. But you really don't need to. It will actually tell you if it's not level. So if it's not level, it's going to tell you. Okay. So that's a very important tip, that just make sure it's above the mat that you're hitting on. All right, so if you're going to be using the Garmin R10 Inside, here's a very big tip for your setup, okay, for your Garmin R10 setup. You need to make sure that you have no electronics in the path of or really close to your Garmin R10. That will distract it and it won't read correctly. So make sure your electronics, your devices, right, any type of shiny surface, you can cover that as much as you can. Make sure that they're clear from the Garmin R10, because that will throw a distraction and make it difficult to read. Okay, the other thing, if you're on the range and somebody's right next to you, okay, again, it's going to read that and it's going to mess it up. Okay, so make sure you have a clear angle and it shows it in that alignment piece that I talked about. Make sure you have a clear angle for your shot to go so that there won't be any distractions or anything shiny or electronics or anything like that distracting the Garmin R10 from your ball. All right, golfers, let's take a look at some tips to setting up your Garmin R10 so that you'll have the best experience and improve your swing. Okay, the first thing that you want to do when you're setting up your Garmin is you want to pick 3 different stats or pieces of data that you want to get for your swing. Right now, mine says total distance, club path, smash factor. Now, if I want to change that, okay, let's say I want to do my club face, I'll click on the smash factor right there. It'll pull up this menu. Okay, you can see smash factor is checked. What I will do is I will then go and change it to club face. So now it should say total distance, club path, and club face. You can change any of those 3. Okay. The next thing you'll want to do is you can get a 4th piece of data that will be for every swing, and that will be a voice data. That will be one that is said. Okay, that will be one that is said out loud after you hit the ball. And so all you have to do is click the megaphone down at the bottom here. You can see right now it's set to carry distance. Let's say that I want to change that to find and see my smash factor. Okay, so now after I hit, not only will I get the 3 pieces of data, total distance, club path, and club face, I will also hear what my smash factor is. So I can make a mental note, and then if I want to, I can go and make a little note on what that swing was. Was it a good swing or was it a bad swing? Right? I can check either one, and then I can also write a little note of what I felt I did well or what I didn't do or what I didn't need to do next time. Okay, so that's a great way to do it, but that will be where the little note and pencil and paper are down at the bottom. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is if you want to actually capture your swing in video so you can go back and look at it, it will capture your swing. All you have to do is hit the camera with a little line through it at the bottom, hit that camera, and there I am, right? And then I'll click on the button that says swing capture. It'll turn red, and then I click the X, and now you will see that at the bottom, there's a little red dot blinking inside that camera. That means that after I swing and hit a shot, I can go back and review my swing in video. So I can actually take that video and look at it and see what I'm doing well and what I'm doing poorly. And so a lot of times it's what I'm doing poorly. But with that, you'll be able to look at your video, you'll be able to get all your data, and this is the beginning of how you are going to set up your Garmin R10 launch monitor for the best results. All right, so another tip on making sure that your Garmin R10 is giving you the best and most accurate stats and data is to go and click the 3 buttons here and check your alignment. Okay, down at the bottom it says approach R10 alignment. Click that, and that will kind of walk you through and show you how far you need to be. You need to be 6 feet. Place the Garmin about 6 feet behind the ball. You need certain width. Okay, to track shots with the Garmin, you're going to do those things. So if you ever need some help and reminders on how to set up and align your Garmin, it's right there. Click the 3 buttons, scroll down to the bottom, and you have the information. All right, so another tip on how to improve your Garmin R10 launch monitor experience is by making sure that you're getting the right distances. Okay, sometimes when you're indoors, there could be a lot of things going on as we talk about in this video, but there can be a lot of things going on that might not get you the distance that you think you're really hitting. Okay, maybe you hit your your pitching wedge 120 yards. Okay, and so you are only hitting it 110. Okay, you're 10 yards short. So what can you do with the Garmin R10 to give it a better experience so that you are able to hit it the distances you think you can hit it? Well, one way is to click the 3 buttons here and go to weather conditions. Now, you will see that the weather conditions are automatically put in there for you, depending on where you're located. Sometimes indoors, it can mess with the weather conditions. And so if you're curious and want to try to change the conditions here, all you do is slide it. Okay, make your altitude much higher, make your humidity much higher, and your temperature much higher. The higher you go on those, the further you're supposed to hit the ball. So then you can kind of gauge and adjust it accordingly. Okay, and so this will help you to get the right distances because it's so important to be able to use the Garmin R10 and get the right distances and distance know your clubs and distance your clubs the best you can so that when you get on the course, you know exactly how far you hit it. And so by adjusting the altitude and the humidity and the temperature to the higher ends, it will make you hit the ball further. All right, golfers, so the last tip I want to give you for your setup, if you can, make sure that you set up your Garmin devices hooked up to your R10 and use the Garmin app. Okay, the Garmin app is great. I hook up my watch to the Garmin app. And so now I have all my performance stats that you can see, right? Okay, there's my handicap with the number of rounds and my best score, etc., etc. Okay, you can get your SOD overview, all that good stuff with your connection of your Garmin watch to your Garmin app. The Garmin watch is a great device. It gives me all my yardages. It's not very expensive, right? You can use a smartwatch and things like that too. But I use the Garmin watch and connect it here. And now I have all my course stats, right? For all the courses that I play. I get all my sim sessions right here in one thing. They got leaderboards that I don't really do, but you could do, right? You can add to your bag. You can download different courses. So make sure you connect your Garmin devices to, in particular, the Garmin watch to the Garmin app, and you'll be able to have everything in one area for all your golf enjoyment. All right, golfers, so there you have a few tips for the Garmin R10 setup, right? I hope they help. Try them out. Make sure that you have got your Garmin so it's set to get the most out of it so you can really improve your golf swing. If you have any questions, make sure you comment down below. Love to answer any questions. Love to try to help you out. We're on this journey together. Let's try to get better at golf.